So your mama didn't teach you how to do certain things. Your daddy didn't teach you how to do certain things. You don't know how to do certain things. That's not an excuse, because nobody taught you how to Facebook either, but you do that like a champ, right? So you can't say things like that. You gotta teach yourself. You gotta teach yourself how to do things. And basically, there's nothing stopping you when it comes to learning what you need to learn. Why would you want anything to stop you? Do you think the trees let the sky stop? That doesn't work, does it? Do you think the car lets a family stop them when it's trying to go down the road at 80 miles an hour? Do you think that Warren Buffett do you think he can buy whatever he wants? Of course he can. But does that stop him? No. So why are you going to let having problems or coming from a difficult situation stop you from learning what you need to learn how to do? The thing is, basically, when you get to be my age, which I'm not that old, but I'm getting there, but when you get to be my age, hell, as a matter of fact, 5 years ago, you could pretty much spot BS out of the gate. I can anyway. And my daughter is trying to show me
I need a little bit.
¿Tú quieres tape, baby? Ok, mira, estoy tratando de hacer un podcast ahorita. Ahorita yo te voy a ayudar, okay? I'll be right back. Excuse me a second. Since my spouse is a mental health counselor, and since we've been going to couples counseling, I've had a lot of opportunity to think about what I've learned during couples counseling and about what I've gathered to be the popular way of doing things in psychology or counseling, mental health here in the town that I live in. I can't speak for the rest of the country because I don't know what's going on there. And I also can't assume that the rest of the country is doing things the same way that things are being done here. Of course, everybody's online and the culture is homogenous like that. But at the same time, like places like Colorado, people are smoking weed in public. So that's quite a different place. So when we were in our counseling session, our counselor and my wife outside of the counseling session and in the counseling session would always bring my anger to fear. And this, I didn't know why, but it got on my nerves. I didn't have the words for it. I never thought about it. I knew one thing. I knew that, and I said this to them, I knew that anger I could do something with. And fear, I can't do shit with that except feel defeated. Okay? Right, because anger is it's a motivational, it's a moving force. But first, they said, first there's the fear, and at the root of all anger there is fear. Okay, what are you afraid of? So it makes you angry. Taking something to the root of it, I don't think I've ever said this before, is not always necessary. And it's not always helpful. For example, taking anger to the root, which is fear, so what, right? So you're afraid, I'm afraid that such and such thing happens, so it makes me angry. So I get angry because anger mobilizes me. So I process from fear to anger very quickly. I'd rather be angry than afraid. How's that? Now, going into fear, taking that, if that's true, that at the root of all anger is fear, that's my thought is like, so what, right? Why is that relevant? And is it even true, first of all? But if it is true, how is that relevant all the time? What is that going to do? What is it going to solve? Anger, there's nothing wrong with anger. I don't see anything wrong with anger. Anger is there and it's an emotion. But I feel sometimes like a lot of mental health counselors, well, a lot of them that I know, are trying to stamp out certain emotions. Like, those emotions are not good. You should never have those emotions. There's a reason why we have a word for jealousy and anger and sadness, because they exist. You can't like try to eliminate them. And you don't always want to embrace them. Sometimes, a lot of the time, you want to rise above them and acknowledge them and acknowledge that they suck. Through and through they suck. But you can't stop there. That is when you have to go deeper. That is when you have to go, you got the sadness going on. Okay, so you're feeling it, you feel it for a little while. That is when you have to go deeper. That is when you have to rise above it. Not when you're angry, which may be the result of a habit of taking action, or it may be the result of an impulse to act. I see no sense in trying to completely eliminate an emotion unless you're talking about depression. Everything has its exception, right? That one, you can just fucking get rid of that one. It would do everybody a lot of benefit. People could still get sad, but depression is more of a long-term and more of it's just debilitating. And sadness can be debilitating, but it's not a depression. A depression is, I take it more as long-term, bogged down, can't get out of bed. I've been depressed before. It sucks. It was a long time ago. I never want to do that shit again. I'd rather be angry. And in Spanish, there's a word that my mom used to use. The word is coraje, right? My mom used to tell me, hazlo con coraje, mijo. Con coraje. That's like a productive anger. I don't know, what do you think about this? I'm talking to you not so much from my intellect. This is not like a heady thing that I'm working out like mathematically. This is something that I'm studying my emotions about. And as a matter of fact, compared to sadness, I love anger. Because I can channel that. Sadness, I can't do anything with that. I can't channel that anywhere. Like, it's just a weight. Sadness is a weight and anger is a force. I read a quote. And I'll leave you with this. It's a great quote. I don't know where it's from exactly, but it was written on a wall. And the quote said, defend joy and organize your anger. Having kids has taught me how much my parents must love me. And it's an intense amount. It's an intense thing. It's the kind of thing that makes you forget about what you want. And your own life, even if it comes to that, completely, willingly, with honor. You'd be honored to lay down your life. You'd be happy to. But especially in youth, but even throughout life, really,
into adulthood, too many people make fun and they look down on their parents, especially if their parents come from a lowly, humble, a poor background, or if they're uneducated. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do that. Is because if you're smart enough to know better than them, you have to understand that the reason that you know better than them is because they gave you the opportunity to know better than them. You see, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be smarter than them. They catapulted you there. Maybe your parents are truly scumbags. I don't know. That's possible too. I've seen it. But maybe they're not. Maybe you could be paying attention to the wrong part of the story here when it comes to your parents. And if you're sitting around thinking that you're far superior than them intellectually and emotionally or financially, they set it up in one way or another, I'm sure the best way that they could, for you to be emotionally, intelligently, or financially advanced than them. My parents, I watched my parents bust their ass for us. And I have to say, I'm sorry to say, that me as a parent, I have to say that so far, they failed more than I did. But I can't judge them for it because they gave me the opportunity to be better than them. I gotta go take care of my kids.